Welcome to Ease in Real Life, the podcast where we embrace joy, authenticity, and peace through all of life's ups and downs. I'm your host, Kijana, and each week we'll explore practical tools, real stories, and meaningful conversations to help you create a life that feels lighter and more aligned. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ease in Real Life. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am super excited about today's guest, my friend Romika. Today's episode is all about bravery and visibility and building a life that reflects who you really are on the inside and the outside. And I believe that my friend Romika is one of the most shining examples that I can think of, that I know of, someone who is not afraid to show up as they are and be themselves out loud the whole time. But I so appreciate this conversation and how real it was and how raw it is in really speaking to what it takes to actually put yourself out there, to be seen, which is not always as easy as it sounds. I am someone who certainly struggles with this, and I have found my friendship with Romika to be so empowering in this way. And so I truly, truly hope that you all will enjoy listening to this conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. It's a very real conversation. It's raw, and I hope that it brings some inspiration and some confidence to you on your journey and whatever it looks like and how you're putting yourself out there. So let's get into it. Hi, Romika.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing very well today. I'm very glad that you're here.
Same.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So today we are going to talk about fear a little bit, a lot of it,
Yeah.
actually. We're going to talk about it in the sense of putting yourself out there. I will have surely talked about this in the intro, but Romika is kind of venturing into a space where you've like sort of been for a while.
Like behind the scenes.
Yeah,
like
kind of like, behind the scenes. I don't want to say off to the side, but off to the side.
Off to the side, yeah. Definitely.
But now you have really decided to center yourself
Mhm.
within it. And what I love about it too is like in a little bit of a different way. We'll get into that. But this conversation is really about overcoming that fear and deciding to just do it anyways.
Mhm.
So before we even like get to the fear part, let's talk a little bit about what is getting you excited creatively right now and what you are working on.
I think so. Right now, I'm actually surrounded by a lot of people that are doing new things, like yourself, who's entering like a new podcast. I have friends who are like posting music out, and like I just have like a bunch of like creative people around me,
Mm-hmm.
and that is getting me excited. Where it's like I want to create, I want to make art, I want to do this too.
Totally.
Like I'm in this space, I'm sharing the space with these people, and they're doing such amazing things with like their talents. I'm saying I have talents too.
You sure
I
do.
want to. I want to be with you guys.
Yeah.
And so like I think just vibing off of other people's energy and just having it like be a positive like reinforcement to push
Yeah.
me is just making me so excited just to create, no matter what it is. If it's like poetry, if it's content creation, it's just making me want to like get my hands dirty and actually just do it.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Was there like a specific moment? Because like I said, like you support one of your friends who is like a major influencer in
Mm-hmm.
in like this Boston area, probably one of the biggest that I know of. You have other friends that, to your point, are doing like, you've got your friend who does the cakes and stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
really big things and really
Yeah.
cool things. And so was there a moment for you where you basically were just like, fuck it, I'm out here?
So I have like people have always told me that like you should be in front of like the camera. You need to be in front of the camera. And I've heard this since I was young. Like
Yeah.
I've always been someone who like loves entertaining. I don't love the spotlight per se, but I just love making like people smile or like making people like laugh. And so like I've always heard this and I was like, yeah, 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 whatever, whatever. And then like TikTok became a thing and people were just like, you need to be on TikTok. And I was like, brain rot. I don't think I'm gonna be on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing that. And what's it called? I would see like my friends, they would like, like they pop off like my friend Chloe, who is like one of the biggest creators in Boston. She would pop up like she'd make her videos and I would like, help her out.
Yeah.
And she'd always look at me and be like, you need to make videos, like what are you doing? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm just gonna help you, and so like I've heard that for so long and I've always kind of like pushed it behind. I was like, there's other things that I need to do. Like I'm content with like helping my other friends achieve these goals, helping my friends like do these things, and like me being like backseat. And it wasn't until recently I was kind of like, yeah, I think I was like playing with the idea. I was like, maybe I should be in front of the camera because I have a lot to say. I have a lot, of things that I want to showcase the world and I want other people to see and hear.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe it's time. And um, I was telling you off camera how it really clicked in February, early February. My friend Manel she came out with a song. It's called "We Are in a Passion Apocalypse," and it's really just about how people are creating, but there's no passion behind it. They're just doing it
Mm.
to do it. And I was listening to the song, and I was listening to the song every day. Like every morning, I'd play that song. That was the first song I'd play, and it was like she was speaking to me, where it's kind of like, "Oh, you're talking about me? Like I have the passion, and like I'm doing nothing
Mm.
with it." Versus
Mhm.
the people who are just putting things out and
Yeah.
there's no passion.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, you're telling me that I need to go out and I need to go and like put my passion out there."
Mhm.
And that's when it was like, yeah, I think now is the time. Like if it's not now, then it won't be ever.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Your story like so deeply resonates with me because as you know, like I also have a fear of putting myself out there, and I've also heard like my whole life like, "Oh, you need to be in front of the camera or people need to hear your voice or things like that." And it's like you can hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to
Yeah.
hear. It's nice because you're like, "Thanks, you love me." So like
Mm-hmm.
of course you would say
Yeah.
that. But making that switch into like actually doing it is definitely different, and it's definitely a challenge, and it's this moment where you really do, you just have to kind of overcome it. So I love that you literally had a song that was like speaking to you, that was
Mm-hmm.
like, nope, this is you, this
Yeah.
is your time.
Like it's yeah. I was like, girl, like you talking about like are you talking
Yeah.
like
You're
was
like
I the
shots
inspiration?
fired,
Like
yeah.
yeah. like, but
And I love that that's like really also what gave you the courage to be seen.
mm-hmm.
I think that when you are deciding that you're going to put yourself out there, this isn't like Hollywood, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is different than that. And a lot of times the content that you're creating is a lot more personal. It's not like you're a paid actor. You are sharing your real life with people. Is there anything like about that type of content creation that is like misunderstood by like the general, the viewers?
I feel like so for me, I would start like I would start with like my close friends. I would start with like Snapchat. Like if you were an OG Mikachu, like you knew that I was like doing it, but like behind the scenes, I was selective
Yeah.
of who I was doing it with. And I think a
And
lot of
four.
yeah, and I think a lot of people like misconstrued that like this is like my whole entirety of my life. Like this is everything. But I was like, no, this is just a small portion of my life
Yeah.
that I find is entertaining.
Yeah.
Like there's other things that I do in my life that are not entertaining. Like I'm not gonna take you to go get my like my oil change. Like that's not entertaining. That's not
Maybe.
fun. Like there's
There's
other
something for everyone, all
like
right.
yeah, but there's aspects to my life. What you see on camera is not just the whole entirety. And sometimes I feel kind of like sad
Mm,
where it's kind of like I'm not showing people like everything about me because like the people who know me, like my friends and my family, they
yeah.
know that there's more to me. And I am showing the good stuff
Yeah.
about me.
Yeah,
But
for
like
sure.
there's more to me. Like I'm
Sure.
like I'll make a joke on like social media and now people think like, oh, like she's a comedian, like she does like there's not really much thought behind her. And it's like, no, like I do think like
There's so
everyone
much
thinks, but like
intention.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
intention, like there's like so much more purpose
Yeah.
behind the scenes. And I feel like I don't know, I feel like sometimes people like they take you for what you like what I give is like that's all they take.
That surface
Yeah,
level.
and like they don't want to like dive deep.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting people to dive deep because
Yeah.
like get out of my business. Like, you don't need to be in my business. But it's like, understand that there is more to me. Don't just kind of take me for that service level and be like, all right, that's it.
I very deeply resonate with that. I think the piece too that really speaks to me is the piece about like, and I don't want you to because I don't want you in my business. Like, I'm so that person.
Hmm.
I used to have this joke with my friends of like, don't ask me questions. Don't ask me questions.
Hmm.
That's why I'm the one asking the questions.
Yeah, mind the business that
But
pays
yeah,
you. Like, like,
I want to let you.
like
Don't ask me a question. But I think that part of it like comes from also being a Black woman because there's a level of ways that we have to protect our identity and what we're doing and how we're doing it. We have to move in certain ways
mhm.
and in certain circles. And I think that like that defensiveness of not wanting people in my business really does come from that kind of chip on my shoulder,
Yeah.
that I carry.
Yeah, like I don't want to be a caricature of like,
Right. Thank you for putting it like
yeah, I
that.
don't want people to think like, oh, like she's just like a stereocast, like what people
Right.
assume a Black woman should be. And
Right.
it's like, yes, I'm a Black woman, but like there's many aspects to me besides that, just
Totally.
one thing.
Yes.
Like,
And like it it it's tough because when you're putting yourself out there, you don't want to be in this position of like dance monkey dance.
mm-hmm,
Like, no, it's up to me and it's on my timeline and like my way of sharing myself with the world.
mm-hmm,
And so figuring out what to guard and what you can put out is so important and it's so nuanced and there's a level of responsibility that is there to your
mm-hmm,
point of like not just being grouped with every other woman that looks like you
mm-hmm.
and has that identity. And so there's so many layers to it.
Yeah.
Do you find that there are things that you are actually like scared of putting out?
I think so. A big thing that like I find comedic, and I feel like other people find comedic, like people, my close friends, are like me talk about like my love life,
Yeah.
and I just fear being putting that out there for like the mass to see and for
Yeah.
them to like judge or have like their critiques or anything like like people always have their opinions. It's kind of like, why
Sure.
aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? It's kind of like,
Sure, sure,
oh,
sure.
relax, relax,
Yeah,
relax.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just
You have a
laugh at
baby.
like,
Oh my
yeah,
God. You shouldn't be asking you
but
that.
like just like let's
You're
laugh
so
about like I don't have a man.
yeah.
Let's laugh about that.
Yeah.
Like
But also your content on like that in
mhm.
particular is so good. I am like so sad that that's not actually available for everyone to see because when you want to
Eventually,
see
like
entertainment, I mean, it's
yeah,
hilarious.
I feel like just it's sad out here. So like so like
You don't have to
so
tell
like
me,
you
girl.
can't do nothing but laugh. So
Yeah,
like
facts.
I gotta laugh at it, but like I don't want it to be a point where I'm laughing. People like, oh, I feel
Like
petty
jokes
for you.
on
Yeah, it's
you.
like no, 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 don't ever. We're not joking
You're
on
like,
me.
I can do
Like the
that,
joke will never be on
but
me.
it's
Like
not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think just like I'm afraid of showing certain things for like judge where it's kind of like I now no longer have control of like
Yeah.
the narrative, and now instead of like me kind of being like, oh, like come watch this. Let's be entertained by like like how I navigate through life. It's more so, oh, let's look at her and feel pity. And like I don't
Mm,
ever want to put myself in like a predicament where the pittiness
yeah.
comes in because that's when I feel like the most weak and I don't want to feel that.
So you feel like because like for example, just so the audience understands, like
Mhm.
a lot of times when you are sharing stuff that I love, you share it like on IG, for example, with close friends.
Yeah.
And you feel like because those people know you and
Mhm.
they know your demeanor, they know your sense of humor, it would never be like something where they would turn around and have pity on you
Mhm.
because they know you.
Yeah.
But when you open yourself up to the masses, that might be the response you get. And that's certainly not what we're looking for.
Yeah. And I feel like eventually, like, I will be able to navigate that lane where I put more of myself out there. So more people, and like I gain like a solid, like a solid fan base of people who know me,
Yeah.
and they'll be able to understand what is going on and they won't have that pity. They'll be like, oh, I know Ramika. I know what like it's going on. Like, I know, like, I'm inside on the joke with her too.
Yep.
And I think for that to happen, I just need to build rapport with, the people, and I need
Yeah.
to continue to grow. And I'm just not there yet
Mm.
where I'm at that comfortability with like the public. I'm there with like my close friends. I'm there with like intimate people because I know them. So like that's years of like rapport. That's years of friendship, years of
Sure.
love
Yeah.
that like I need to build with the public.
Yeah. But like how will you do it if
I
you're
think
not putting yourself out
it's,
there? Like are you just gonna go
it's
around and start shaking hands like, hey, I'm Romika.
maybe, maybe I do it. Like I think putting out like safe content
Yeah.
first is like the way I'm gonna go about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once like I have like a little community that like, and I do have a community. Don't get me wrong,
Yes.
I do have a community. And once I have a community of strangers
Yeah.
that came like that found me on the internet and they're just like I'm gonna stick by you. Once I
Mm-hmm.
have that like like I found that,
Yeah.
and once I know like hey I can make that,
Yeah.
then I'll be like oh I'll get a little cocky.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Would you give that advice to me?
No. I would definitely tell you,
To
just
put
do it.
myself
Yeah,
out,
just do it.
right?
Yeah.
So we're hearing it. We're
Yeah.
hearing it.
Are
We're
we
here. We're
are we
good.
taking it?
Are we taking it? I don't.
That we're slowly,
But seriously,
slowly.
because like straight up, like I watch your stuff.
Mhm.
I love it, and I feel like I'm a basic bitch in that regard. Like with the
Ooh,
not in many, but in that regard, like with the masses, like I generally like. You know what I mean? I can be a top 40 kind of girl. Grits. I won't cheat you yet, but
please,
don't overstay your welcome.
please, please.
He's looking to jump, but my thing is like your content is good. Like my fears, right? My struggles, and like my friends know this is like I'll record a video and I'll be like, it doesn't look good. I have issues with technology and like understanding. You came in and you were like, do this, do this, get this. And you're like, it'll look better. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And I feel like today's video is probably going to be the best video that I've got.
No, the next video.
Yeah,
Once you get the
but up until this point,
Mhm.
because of the advice that you just came in and gave me, and it's those little technical things that I really need to make me feel more comfortable to put myself out.
Mhm.
But I feel like you have that down. Like the technical stuff, you're good. You understand how to create complete content, how to tell a complete story.
Mhm.
And you do that so well right now. So, yes, as your friend, I would like to see you put yourself right out there.
Yeah, yeah. I feel I don't know, I feel like there's just like this one like I feel like there's just a thing holding me back where it's kind of like fear because I've before social media I've put you like we're human, we have human connections, we have relationships with people outside of the phone,
Yeah.
and I've put
Well,
myself out there. Oh.
can't.
I'm so sorry.
I just bought these, and it's his mission in his lifetime to tear out every single thread. And so I am actually such a Jamaican mom because I now cover them with blankets when people aren't here.
As you
And
should.
I'm embarrassed about it, but
As you
I'm sharing it with you.
I'm
So
gonna get you the plastic. I'm gonna get you
don't do that.
the
Don't do that. Don't do me dirty like that. Okay, it's
That's a
blankets.
staple.
I'm using
That's
blank.
a
Don't do. I
staple.
don't know because plastics will actually scare the shit out of it.
Like,
Anyways, back
um
to the conversation.
so we have like relationships outside of the phone,
Right.
and I have opened up to people like people that I thought like were friends, people I thought like I could trust, and
Yeah.
like I've been burned before, and so I like the fight or flight response.
Sure.
My response is I'm going to freeze.
Yeah.
I'm going to make myself as small as
Yeah.
possible, almost damn near invisible.
Mm,
And so I've done that with myself. Like that's just kind of like my way of overcoming trauma where I kind of just make myself as small as possible.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like because of that past trauma, I'm now taking my relationship with social media and
Mm-hmm.
I'm marrying that where I'm kind of like I'm trying to make myself as small as possible and like going slowly getting bigger as I get comfortable.
Yeah.
But I understand that like when I make new friends, I'm not small. I am like this big
Couldn't be
personality
a way that I would
that
describe
like
you.
you
Yeah.
can just feel it once I walk in.
Yeah.
And like I realized that like that's how I'm going to gain what I want. That's
Yeah.
how I'm going to gain the fan base. That's how I'm gonna gain like, more Mikachus is by the way, Mikachus are like my little fan
Your
name.
little
That's how I'm gonna
cute.
gain the Mikachus is just by being this big personality.
Yeah,
And I think I have
100%.
to like always tell myself and kind of remind myself like, hey, like don't be small. But
Mhm.
it's ingrained in me now that I kind of like I'm like, let me be a little small and like test the
Mm.
waters. And like I like that's like a challenge that like we've talked about off camera where it's
Sure.
kind of like
Many times.
we gotta push ourselves, and like I have been pushing myself to not be as small as possible. I have been trying to tell myself that every room that I walk into, I belong in, and every room that I'm in will take me to the next room.
Yeah.
And like I have to really like work on it, and like I really have to like kind of drop that fear. 100%.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I think that like one of my questions for you today was like, oh, has fear ever made you stop or pull back? But I feel like that's where fear has kind of held you in this point of feeling like, to your point of like, I'm going to go small
Mhm.
when you know you're meant to be big. You
Mhm.
know you're meant to be seen and heard and felt.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so I think too, it's always so important to like go where you're loved
Mhm.
and to go to your people. And we talk about this all the time of like holding each other accountable in that
Mhm.
way to like to putting ourselves out there because we both agree it's something that we should be doing.
Yeah.
And I think that like creating those types of spaces and relationships of people that are going to continue to push you and
Mhm.
encourage you to keep going is so important. Having that community is so important.
Mhm.
I know that you have a really good community of people that are continuing to push you forward.
100%.
And so I definitely am also one of those people who are going to continue to push you forward. But I think speaking to the fear is so important, right?
Mhm.
Because like we also get deep in our combos. Like we've
Mhm.
talked about like our seasonal depression when we
Mhm.
like go down into that
Mhm.
descent and like trying to pull ourselves back up. And I feel like, that's such a big part of it. I know even for me, right? Of like wanting to put myself out there, like once I go into that place where I'm like, it's dark here, I don't want to be out anywhere,
Mhm.
And so, how can we kind of like not necessarily like pull ourselves out, like allow ourselves to be in those spaces when we need to, but not so that we stay there?
So I'm a big, if you know me in real life, you know that I'm always going to say, fill out your emotions. Your emotions are valid. Your emotions are there for a reason.
Sure.
But when it's time to let it go, let it go.
Yeah.
And I have said it so much so that my sister is she is on me when she's feeling like, you're in your emotions a little too long. You gotta let
Yeah.
it
You've
go.
been there too
And I was
long.
like, okay, yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
maybe, but like it hurts. And she's like, you gotta let it go.
Hmm.
Like you have to. At a certain point, you have to let it go. Your emotions
Yeah.
are not you.
Yeah.
You are not you're just feeling your emotions.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing,
Sure.
and you need to just start living again.
Hmm.
Because recently I've been like I told my friend Chloe, I was life is like once you start living,
Yeah.
it's actually amazing. Like
It's
once you
so
like it's
amazing.
so great. Like when you actually start living, like
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like these opportunities come to you 10 times its fold, and like you just have to just do it. Like
Yeah.
there's no other way. Like I wish there was like like a 1-2 step that I could give people, but you just have to you have to like look at yourself in the mirror and be like, listen, this right here is a facade.
Yeah.
Like this is just a coat that you're putting on. This is not your authentic self. This
Yeah.
is not you.
Yeah.
You need to snap out of it and get back to you.
Mm.
Because I know who I am at
Yep.
the end of the day. Like I know outside of like me getting anxious, me being depressed, me having like trauma, that's not me. I know
Yeah.
me. And like I know when I am being raw, and I know when I'm just kind of like, oh well, I'm gonna just smile for like I'm gonna smile to make other people
Yeah.
like happy.
Comfortable.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is it's not it. Like you need to stop being uncomfortable to make other people comfortable.
Yeah.
You need to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Even if it means other people are uncomfortable by it, other people are like, your light's too bright for people, like you just need to step in.
Yeah.
Just step into yourself.
Yeah.
So,
That is so important. And I love that mentality of like just grounding into yourself, grounding
mhm.
into your foundation and of who you really are,
Mhm.
not allowing yourself to lose sight of that, regardless of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because to your point, emotions are information
Mhm.
and they are certainly here to guide us in ways, but they don't define us
Mhm.
if we don't let them,
Yeah, because
you
it
know?
it all starts with like your root. Like everything is from the ground up. Like
Yeah.
if your foundation, your base is not good,
Yeah.
how do you expect to achieve these things that you want?
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of like be real with yourself and like give yourself tough love, because
Yeah.
like you need to start at your root.
Mhm.
You need to make sure everything is good at home base, and once
Mhm.
everything's good at home base, then you can achieve these things that you want to achieve. I like we've talked about how I want to do these things, and like I'm doing it, and like now it's kind of like, oh wait, this is great.
Mhm.
But like it had to start with me checking in with myself and be like, all right, be for real.
Yeah.
Be for real. Like Manel had to sing a song and you had to be like, all right, girl, like this is about me. Like I gotta
Yeah.
be for real.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like that's how it blooms. That's how it starts. There may be hiccups. Life is not linear. It's not gonna
Right.
be 1, 2, 3. There's
Yeah.
gonna be like, sometimes where you kind of stop, go. But as long as you continue to go,
Yeah.
as long as you continue to kind of like carry on, life's gonna be worth living. Like it's gonna
Yeah.
be all right.
You're gonna get back one
Yeah.
way or another.
Mhm.
Yeah, 100%. That's so real and such an important thing to kind of remember, especially, and I don't know if there's other things that kind of keep you going through those vulnerable moments, but in those vulnerable moments, to remember that foundation and that, like, this feels like this right now, but it's going to feel different
Mhm.
in a minute.
Oh.
Stop. Stop. Because I don't know why all of a sudden you need to do that.
Do you want to be interviewed?
He wants to be in this show so bad. Next episode, you're on my lap the whole time, I promise.
Mhm.
Can we? Okay.
Okay.
But just back to what I was just saying, like, do you feel like there are other things, in general that kind of keep you pushing through those vulnerable moments?
Um, honestly, not to sound two things. I feel like one is the like my younger self who loved like again, I loved like entertaining people. I love making people laugh. I love like, like just doing all of this. I think I look when I'm like in like these moments of like the state of like raw emotions, I have to look back at like my younger self and be like, "Hey, what would you do?" Like
Hmm.
what would cuz younger Ramika had no fear in her heart. She had fear, but like she didn't show it. Like she was running through, like she did not care. No obstacles was stopping her. So I'd
Yeah.
have to ask him like, hey, like, what would you do? Like,
Hmm.
if you're in my position. And I know my younger self would be like, all right, let's go. Let's keep on,
Yeah.
like, let's keep on going. And another thing that drives me is the people that love and support me.
Hmm.
They pour so much into me
Hmm.
that I feel like if I just stop, that I'm just taking everything that they gave me for granted.
Oh, I so know
And
that. Yeah.
I cherish the people that love me, the
Sure.
people that pour into me, the people that like, lift me up when I can't even lift myself up.
Mm.
I can't stop until
Yeah.
like I've made it. And I've
Yeah.
told a bunch of my friends, like, my first video, I like hit up all my friends. I said, what do you guys want? You want a Birkin? You want a Chanel bag? You want like X, Y, and Z? Because I'm going to get you that. Like, that's a promise that like I made them. And like they all like joked around, saying, no, like I'm so serious. Like that's a promise I am going to make you. So
Hmm.
I remember like when I'm in these moments that I don't stop because I
Yeah.
made you a promise and I guarantee I'm going to fulfill the promise. So,
I resonate so deeply with that.
mhm,
I know that feeling very well, and I love that. I appreciate you just like framing it in that way, especially the piece about you tapping into your younger self for
mhm,
inspiration and motivation. I feel like a lot of us, we have this tendency to kind of throw our younger selves away
mhm,
once we've, graduated beyond that point, and we are quick to kind of let them go. Oh, I'm not that anymore. That's not me. That's a different version. And sometimes I get it. You know what I mean? A lot of times I do, because we are trying to move forward and we don't want to stay stuck in the past. But to have that connection with your younger self, to be able to go back and tap into that
mhm,
energy, is so important, and it's so beautiful. And there's so many parts of our younger selves. And obviously, we talk about, like, well, we haven't talked about it in this podcast, but we certainly will at some point. But like your inner child and the relationship that you have with your inner child, and that is like really a lot of what you're just like describing in this moment. And I
mhm,
think that, sometimes we forget, like, is our inner child has a seat at the table, you know what I mean, for a reason. And like, even though we don't want our inner child driving the bus, they're on the bus with us, like
mhm.
they're a part of the conversation,
Passenger seat, like they're
period.
like
Like
passenger
ride or
seat.
die, you know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like, that's the one that if you can stay good and in a good place with that part of you,
mhm,
you really can be successful in what you're trying to do. So for all your fear, I think staying in that space, at least where you're tapping into that part of you, is certainly like enough to keep you going.
mhm. I feel like we really do throw away our younger selves, and we kind of either we throw it away or we kind of shield away
Hmm.
our younger selves because so much has happened.
Hmm.
But you need to realize when you were, like young, when you were like 2, 3, like you had no fear. You didn't understand what fear was. You
Yeah.
just understood that you were living and these are things that you liked. and these are the things that you disliked, and the
Mhm.
things that you disliked, you weren't around. You were
Yeah.
around the things that you like.
Yeah.
And I was always, singing my little songs. I was always like, daydreaming. I was always having like these like, vivid like not memories, but vivid like, ideas of like things that I can do, things that I like. There was no limit.
Yeah.
And I feel like especially for the lane that I'm in, there is no limit. So for
Totally.
me to succeed in the lane that I'm in, I need her. I need my younger self. I need younger Ramika because younger Ramika is the reason why I'm even here to
Mhm.
begin with. Like
Mhm.
I think like another thing is like your younger self is the key to happiness. Like it's the
Mhm.
key to ease, to be quite honest, because your younger self is what you should be doing. Like whatever you were doing when you were young.
Oh,
And
that's
I'm not
such a good way
don't
to think about it.
don't if you were doing some
Yeah.
bad little things, don't tap into that. Do not tap into that. Like if you was
Yeah.
out on the streets hanging out with your rat friends,
Yeah.
do not tap into that. But like your younger self was doing things that made you happy.
Yeah.
And your younger self, you were authentic. You were as authentic as you could be because there was
Mhm.
no society putting like, like restraints on you. You
Mhm.
were just a kid and you were free. Um, and I think that what's called you really need to tap back into your younger self if you want to be happy,
Yeah.
if you want to be at ease, because again, that is what you came here for. Like you came
Period.
here to do this one thing, and your
Yeah.
younger self knows the answer.
Sure.
So you got
Yeah.
to go back.
A word. Cause like for real.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? We have to be connected with that part of us. That part of us has so much information and understanding about our most authentic self.
Hmm.
Like it's so funny how our inner child has so much awareness of that highest, most authentic version
Hmm.
that we're all working towards, or hopefully we're all working towards, right? And like those two actually know each other quite well and they
Hmm.
inform each other a lot. And so having that understanding is so, so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people look at it backwards where they look at it like as you age, you go closer to your higher self.
Yeah.
But I feel like as we age, we go like we move far away from
Yeah.
our
We're
higher
getting
self.
so
Yeah,
conditioned, right? By
because yeah,
society.
when you really think about it, like when you were born, like that's
That's
before
it.
that's it. Like
You were ready to
that
go.
was your you were closest to
You
your
had,
higher self as
sure.
you could be
Yeah. Yeah.
because your
You
high
had all the information.
exactly. So like your younger self has more information than you do right now.
Or more access to it. We have
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
information inside us all the time, but the access is what we're
Mhm.
talking about. And the conditioning is what takes away that access to
Mhm.
that part of you. Right. And so deconditioning, unconditioning yourself is such an also important part of the process. And I will say too, like as you were just kind of saying that, it really did become like clear to me, like, and also, like, it's often like your younger self that can get in front of a camera or, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? That
Mhm.
like does have that bravery because society is kind of cruel. Like,
And scary, yeah, like
yeah,
like
like it is. And I feel like totally like just as you were saying that, I was like thinking like, yeah, like a younger version of me would have been down to like film, do anything, like no prop, figure out technology, like please. You know what I mean? I was
mhm.
like excited by technology. Now I'm like, oh, I don't know. I can't do that. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I'm like, to your point earlier of like, I don't want people in my business. I don't want a damn self to know what I'm up to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like those are the things that society has conditioned into me. And so, yeah, you have to be connected with your younger self if you want to be able to go in front of a camera and be authentic,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's an important conversation to have too. Like, you know, anytime you're in front of a camera, unless you're like Kai Sanat, who's just like living with his cameras on, right?
Mhm.
You are like it is performative no matter what. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I don't just sit in this chair all day and talk to people. Like this is something it's a production.
Yeah, you put it on. Like you kinda
Yeah.
yeah.
But like having that line to your authentic self and being able to show that is so important. And I really think when it's what people really resonate with.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, there's always going to be a group of people that like buy into like the Kardashians. I'm not trying to shit on them, for example, but I'm just using them as an example because they're so superficial and we kind
Mhm.
of look at them as like that.
Yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
chair of how you should act on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is like, okay, like really them, but like there's always going to be people who buy into that and that's
Mhm.
fine. And maybe people feel like they have shown their authentic selves and that's why they buy into it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But I think that the people who really have like lasting power, especially when it comes to social media and like being
Mhm.
an influencer, is like you've got to be able to showcase the authenticity. If it's
Mhm.
all just pretty and prim and proper, Like, I think that's why TikTok has gotten so popular,
Yeah.
for example. Instagram is like this very curated
You have to. Yeah,
space.
yeah.
And now we have TikTok where it's like there's no filters. It's just
Mhm.
much more people just, who the
Throwing
fuck
it
did
out
I
there,
marry?
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, you know what I
the
mean? That
mess,
kind
like
of
the mess,
the
yeah.
messiness.
Mhm.
But the messiness is like what connects us
Yeah,
all,
like we all have skeletons in our closet. We all have embarrassing stories that like we've like gone through and we've told other people. Like it's not really that embarrassing. Like once you really
It's
think about it,
not.
because like you'll say something and someone will be like, "Yeah, that happened to me too," and you'd be like, "What,
Right?
girl? Like that happened to you too?" Like
Right?
it's not really like
And so to that I say stop doing the close friends thing.
yeah, 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 definitely.
Because we all can relate to
Yeah,
it.
you're right. You're right.
I'm
I
just
feel
kidding,
like
we
yeah,
don't.
I feel like that's why a lot of people do like my close friends. It's because they're like, yeah, that happened to me too. I'm just like, girl, you live in this life too.
Period.
The ghetto, like we're both in the ghetto.
I seriously though, I won't stop saying it.
Hmm.
I definitely, I just love what you're doing. I'm really proud of you too,
Thank
because
you.
you are someone who, like, in so many ways you inspire me. You're someone who has always supported me and just like show me love literally from the day that we met, and like, how can I support you? How can I help you? And that is who you really are as
Hmm.
a human being. And I'm so excited to have a moment to support you and to celebrate you and all that you're doing because you so deserve it.
Hmm.
Now, for someone who's watching right now and feels like, I do have something I want to share, or like, I do want to put myself out there, what is some advice that you can give to them to, jumpstart them?
Post it. Share it.
This sounds so funny.
I know, like I know it sounds crazy, but like when I post my videos or when I'm making like my like I'm editing to post like a video,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really thinking about the views. I'm not thinking about who's going to watch it, if it's going to go viral. I'm thinking about, hey, I'm going to post this for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to post it for the people that I know, like the people in the close friends, I know that they'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like like it's for us. It's something special for us.
Mm-hmm.
And if other people like it, and other people like tune in on it and they like resonate with that, that's a bonus, but that's not the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like your goal should never be to reach for fame and fortune. Your goal should be to be as authentic to yourself as you can be.
Mm.
And
Mm.
when you work backwards, when you're just like, I want to be famous,
Yeah.
girl, you can be famous, but do you have passion
Mm-hmm.
in what you're doing? Like be authentic, be real, be raw. So just post it and just post it for yourself, no one else.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter if it goes viral or not. It doesn't matter if what's it called, like it doesn't like it tanks. All that matters is that you wanted to do it
Yep.
and you did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Period. That's it.
Mm.
I love that. I love that so much. Now, normally, as I'm like ending interviews, I like to ask people, like, oh, what's one thing that you would go back and tell your younger self? And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we kind of touched on that. And also, like, I wasn't planning on asking you that because I was like, you're a baby. So we'll have this conversation in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But what is something right now that you are either learning or unlearning about yourself?
Well, one thing I am learning is the angles that I like about myself.
Period.
It's like being in front of the camera.
Same. And this is not mine, by the
Yeah, like being in
way.
front of the camera for the first time, it's kind of like, oh,
Yep.
I can make someone else look good, but I don't know if I
Yeah.
can. Yeah. So that's like one thing I'm learning. I think I'm learning to kind of go back into like not caring because everyone cares to a certain extent
Of
about like what other people
course.
think, but I'm learning to just kind of be whatever.
Hmm.
And you are a big inspiration where like I'm afraid of like putting my phone out and being like, hi guys, all that. And I hear you and just like, well, it's muscle memory. Like once you do it, you'll get comfortable, and that's
Period.
that's it. And so I'm just like, you know what, yeah, like I'll do it, and like I'll get comfortable. People don't know whether I'm famous or not. People don't know if I'm an influencer or not. Like you just see me, my camera, and
Right.
you're just like, oh, like she's doing something important. Like, I just do it. So that's something I'm learning to kind of like step into and
Right.
not feel like a fool
And
with
even
doing
if
it.
people are gonna judge you,
Hmm.
like, okay, let them. You know what
Like
I
it is
mean?
what it.
Like,
Yeah,
you don't know them.
exactly. Like my videos are still gonna get watched, just
Period.
not by you.
Maybe not by them,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
maybe by them.
Maybe they may
They're
comment like,
like,
I
I was
saw
right
you.
behind her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like one thing I am unlearning is I'm unlearning the past traumas. not to go like too heavy, but like I'm unlearning that like
We can get heavy, girl.
I don't need to like I'm unlearning not to like make myself small. I'm
Yeah.
unlearning not to kind of, like be timid.
Yeah.
Because this is not a lane to be timid. This is not
Period.
a lane to kind of be shy and
Yeah.
scared, especially what I'm doing and like the niche that I'm doing where it's kind of like lifestyle. So I have to put myself out there. I
Yeah.
have to put my face out there. I have to put my voice out there, my thoughts and
Which
all
I
that.
do just want to say is a little bit different because some of your friends, like even Boston by Chloe, we rarely see her face on her
Mhm.
page. So even that, like, there's a lot of pressure when it's like you,
Yeah.
you
So it's
know?
kind of like I have to like be up to standards,
Yeah.
but then in the other aspect, I don't have to be up to standards. I can just be
Right.
me.
Right.
So I have to learn that like you gotta care where you're like I'm not trying to be like a bum in front of
Yeah.
the cameras, but like
But like we see you in your pajamas
yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. I have a video with me and my Hello Kitty Moo. Do I care? No. And like I need to like
Love that
learn
move.
the fine lines of kind of like don't care,
Yeah.
but care for yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's like I need to like something I gotta learn. But like I have to truly unlearn all my traumas.
I know I said that last one was gonna be the last question, but do you feel like culturally there's anything in terms of like the caring? Like caring what people think about you or anything like that? Like is it like a
100%. Like
yeah,
if I got like I'm gonna say more, but like if you're Caribbean, you know. Like you if you
period.
know, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's always especially like so I'm Haitian, so I've always heard like what would like so and so think like oh like so and so's like daughter wouldn't act like this. So like I was always compared to other people. I was always kind of like told to like be put on like like be on my tens because there's
Yeah.
someone watching. There's someone like gossiping about us. There's someone doing X, Y, and Z.
Right.
So I definitely like I do like there's a fear of like caring too much because like
Yeah.
I know like there's someone like creeping over who's going to judge me.
Yeah.
But also know that like the same people that are talking about me,
Yeah.
I don't really care for them. Like I got things to say about them too.
Right.
Like we can go toe
Well,
for toe.
especially when it's like your aunt's friend
Mm-hmm.
from you know
X, Y,
what
and
I
Z, like
mean?
kind of like all right, like
It's like, okay, well, I actually just don't give a fuck what that
yeah,
person
like
thinks about me. But then too, because like I've had this experience where like that comes to you, right? And you're like, well, I don't care what that person thinks about me. And then you have to like explain that to these
so that thing,
people, your
yeah.
family or your parents or whatever it is. And it's like it 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 sits, we're not unscathed by that
Mm-hmm.
because no matter what, when we get that pressure put on us, a part of us does start to think like, oh, but what if?
Yeah,
But
like
what? And then you start to anticipate, right? Like you're like, well, when my aunt sees this, she's gonna say this, or my mom sees this, she's gonna say this, or
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And I think that's a lot
That's
too.
it's a lot. But I think you have to weed out truly what voice has to be the loudest.
Mm,
So for me, my sister's voice is always going to be the loudest because
mm,
I care for my sister's opinion the most. And that's above like my mom, that's above like my dad. Like I care for
yeah.
her opinion the most.
Hmm.
So like it doesn't matter if like there's 100 aunts of mine
Yeah.
that are saying like, "Oh, girl, like you look fat on the camera. You like like you shouldn't be saying
Mm,
these raunchy things on the
mm-hmm.
camera." If
Mm-hmm.
my sister is laughing
Mm-hmm.
and she's saying, "Bro, this is
It's good.
amazing," it's
Period.
good. I
It's
don't
good.
care. I
It's
don't
going
care.
out.
So
Yep.
like you have to kind of like,
Shout out to sis.
yep, shout out to you.
Yep.
You have you have to kind of like the way I navigate it is just by finding that one person that you truly admire and you truly care for their opinion,
Yeah.
and you kind of look like kind of like not like kind of like oh like if you give a green light I'm gonna go like because I'm gonna go regardless. There's some things my sister doesn't like that like I've done and like in terms of like videos where she's kind of like oh I don't like this edit. I'm just like it's good. I'm gonna do it. But what's it called? I do know that I hold her opinion very high,
Yeah.
so I kind of look to her for encouragement when there's times where I'm kind of like I think I'm going to fall back into this tornado of spiraling of thinking oh what if they're right? What if X, Y, and Z? I just need to look over my shoulder to
Mhm.
the person that's most important to me.
Mhm.
And if they look at me and they give me that like, encouraging smile,
You're good.
I'm good. Like the spiral was never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like it was not on the menu. So
I love that. I
mhm.
love that. Okay. Well, before we go, can you share with the people where to find you and how to watch you? And you know what? Today is that we're recording March 26th. This interview is coming out in about a month from now.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Homegirl might be in a different spot. And
I may be famous.
Period.
I may not follow you back. I may follow you back. It depends. Like, it all depends.
As long as you're following me.
Yeah.
So where can we find you?
So I am on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, but I haven't done anything with my YouTube yet. It's a month.
Period.
I don't know. We may shake it up.
Who knows?
But my
Check it out anyways.
my @ name is the same across all social media. It's Romika XX.
I'll type it in.
Yeah. I'm gonna teach you how to do like the little like pop and edit, so you
Please
can do.
do.
I can do the
Teach
solo.
me something, please.
And my @ name's gonna be right there.
Are they there?
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
was
for
really
having
great.
me.
Thank you for just chatting with me and having this conversation with me. I think it's definitely something that is really important in this day and age. Like, we live in a time where that's part of it. We're putting ourselves out there in ways that we haven't really before. And so I'm so proud of you. I can't say that.
I'm proud of you.
Like, thank you, babe. Thank you.
Like, we're on your podcast.
Period.
Like, this is
Okay,
yours. Like, come on.
No, thank you, babe. No, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us because we're doing it. We're holding each other accountable. We're getting ourselves out there. This girl's teaching me stuff every day. And anytime you do teach me new stuff, it just inspires me and excites me. And so that we can like be that source for each other is a blessing beyond blessing. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yay. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Okay. All right, friends. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I think one thing that really stood out to me was just really sitting with the bravery that is required to be seen, but also the deep transformation that happens when you do allow for yourself to be out there like that. So, congrats to Romika. I hope that you guys are all going to go right over to her page, see what she's been up to for the last month. Because I'll tell you, my girl has been on her Zoom every day, 10 a.m. I've seen it. And I love her for it. And I'm so proud of her and so proud of all that she's doing. All right, a little astrology update on the way out. Let me just pull up the chart, but I did do some research. I sure did. Not research, but I just looked at the chart ahead of time so that I could just like offer you guys something. And actually, I love this. I love the way the astrology has been aligning with these episodes. Last weekend, we were like having a very Capricornian conversation and we had a Capricorn moon. This weekend, we've got an Aries moon. And the cool thing about this weekend is that on Saturday, starting on Friday, actually, really, the moon and Mercury will be conjunct. And so I love a moon Mercury conjunction because it's really giving you space to speak on those deep emotions, right? Those deeper things that the moon really represents within us and our emotional body and our emotional self. But those two are in a trine with Mars in Leo this weekend. And still a pretty tight trine. They're kind of coming out of it, but it's there. And I love this because I feel like this weekend is a weekend where it's like, if you've got something on your heart, say it. Say it, do it, speak on it. You are supported. Know that. You know, again, Mars is in Leo. This fire energy, this fire axis is lit up right now, and I'm here for it. So I hope that will land wherever it needed to. I hope that you guys have a beautiful, beautiful weekend ahead. We are like finally getting some beautiful sunny weather over here in Boston, which I'm so super grateful for. Not just sunny, but sunny and warm. You know what I mean? We've had the sun all winter, but I'm talking about the warm. I need to feel those rays, and I'm feeling them. I'm feeling them right now, actually. Anyways, I so love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being brave and doing all that you're doing in this world. Know that you are so seen, you are so held, and please, please, please create space for ease for yourself this weekend because you deserve it. You sure do. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Ease in Real Life. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a review or share it with a friend who might need a little more ease in their life. Remember, creating ease is a choice we make every day, even in the hard moments. I'll chat with you next time, and until then, take care of yourself and each other.